So today I'm doing an EDC update for December. I think I missed this in November. I meant to do one, but just got busy with stuff. But basically, if you haven't seen these before, just an EDC update is, you know, everyday carry stuff. It's what I have on me. Things are constantly changing, mostly knives, but other things, lighters, multi-tools, flashlights, watches, they come and go, and I change it up. Speaking of watches, let's start there. This is the COUNTYCOM Pilot's Watch. I absolutely love this watch, and this is the one that gets used the most. I actually have 3 new watches. I didn't grab them for this video because I'm probably going to do a separate video talking about watches a little bit. Well, I shouldn't say probably. Maybe, maybe not. But the other 3 watches I have been using on and off and might do reviews in the future. We will see, but they're watches that I got in trades. They are higher-end watches that normally I wouldn't buy. But it's very interesting just to try some nice quality stuff. So may or may not see that. Let me know in the comments. I know there are some watch people, but I want to see if there's a demand for that. But yeah, so COUNTYCOM watch, absolutely love it. It is, you know, just works every day. I actually get quite a bit of compliments on it, which is nice. And of course, just the black goes with everything. So where do we go from there? Let's get the boring stuff out of the way. Saddleback leather wallet. You can see just completely broken in at this point. Did not look anything like this color-wise when I first got it, but that's the cool thing about a nice piece of leather, is that, you know, eventually it wears in, breaks in. This is completely just smoothed out, all the oils from my hands, you know, since I've had the thing now. It's just, it looks great, in my opinion. You know, if you're a leather guy, or a leather gal, you can appreciate something like that. So anyway, just love the wallet. I'm very used to the style, and it is completely broken in on the inside as well, so it's easy to get the cards in and out and stuff. It took probably a good part of a year to get that thing completely broken in, but now it's perfect. As far as phone I don't have on the table here, still the same iPhone. I'm going to be upgrading to my wife's old phone eventually. I hate phone stuff. I don't really enjoy like tech as much as some people. It's always the, for me, it's like the worry that, oh, I'm going to lose my stuff on my phone, and I'm just not involved with tech stuff, you know what I mean? So when I do something like that, I got to watch YouTube videos, I got to learn about that kind of thing, you know? My phone is for phone calls, you know? I have some apps. I do love using Instagram. It's a great way to keep, you know, together with a lot of you guys that are watching the videos and stuff. People follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, it's CUTLERYLOVER Jeff is my Instagram name. But I do post some stuff over there, obviously some knife stuff, but just some random things as well. So I do use that app a lot, but pretty much if I'm on my phone, I'm either making a phone call, texting someone who I know, or on Instagram. That's pretty much it. I'm not like one of those people that just lives on my phone all day. But anyway, as far as keys, kind of downgraded as far as the stuff that were on here. I still have probably too much stuff for most people. But besides the actual keys that I need, I still have handcuff key. All right, and people have talked about this before. You should know the legality of carrying a handcuff key. It's actually illegal in some states. So be careful where you are, you know, to follow the law. Still have this little capsule from COUNTYCOM, which has some, I believe, Motrin in there, which I happen to like for headaches. So a couple pills. This just glows in the dark. It's not tritium. I think I accidentally said that once a long time ago. Just regular, you know, GID epoxy tube inside of a cage here. This I still use every sinsingle day that I go out and have my keys. I use this clip, also from COUNTYCOM, ton of COUNTYCOM stuff in the video. But I did a video on this before, heat treating, or not heat treating it, but you know, heat colorizing it. And I use this every single day. When I take my keys, you know, out of the car, instead of putting them in the pocket, because obviously I carry so much stuff all the time, I just clip this to my belt loop on my pants. And lately, now that it's wintertime and it's getting cold and stuff, 99% of the time I'm wearing blue jeans, you know, pair of Levi's. I have a couple different pair, just rotate through them. And it limits me as far as what I can carry, because in the warmer months, I'm usually in cargo shorts. And when I have cargo shorts, especially like the tactical shorts, I have all kinds of pockets. Dedicated flashlight pocket, dedicated spare mag pocket, stuff like that. Obviously the leg pockets themselves is great for the multi-tools and lighters and such. So I can free up my regular pockets for just whatever I need throughout the day. If I buy something I need to save my receipt, you know, put it in my pocket. It's just easy that way. But in the winter, wearing the denim, it's got its pros and cons. Obviously, for warmth, I much prefer it over like cargos or whatever. Sometimes if it's really cold, I will wear like long johns underneath it. You know, just depends on the situation, but I do like those, but it's very limiting. I have a regular, you know, 2 front pockets, you know, the back pockets, and then the little 5th pocket. The little 5th pocket sometimes I will use for small stuff like flashlights. This is the Through Night Tie 5T, very heavily used, but like that will go in the 5th pocket. Sometimes a Zippo, sometimes a small multi-tool, just depends, but generally speaking, I'm running 2 pockets. So, yeah, that's what's going on with the keys. That's why I like this so much, just to hang it off the front. It's always there, and it frees up my other pockets for other stuff. Besides that, little, again, Countycom. Love Countycom for my little gadgets. I forget the model of this flashlight, but super bright. There's 2 modes. All right, low, spin all the way for high. It's rechargeable. I did do a video on that a long time ago. Besides that, I switched the continue mission tag. If you guys saw that video, got one of the brass tags instead of the long, you know, I forget what those things are called, the, you know, nylon tags. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. The big thing, which obviously most people are going to notice, is this. This is a DGT gear tool. Also got this in the trade. This one is the Otha Arrow, I believe. Interesting tool. I usually mostly use this for prying. Okay, I preach to a lot of people who use their knives for prying. I mean, some people, they carry a cheap knife and they don't have any problem with, you know, breaking the blade out and kind of scraping something and prying and lifting, and hey, if it breaks, whatever, it's a cheap knife, buy a new one. It makes me cringe. You know, knives are for cutting. I don't use my knives for any kind of prying, so I always try to have something on me. Even if I'm not carrying a multi-tool, I always have a multi-tool that's close by in the car. And sometimes I will pry with something on the multi-tool that's not meant to be pried with, like, for example, the file. I posted a video, God, years ago, where I used the file on a multi-tool, like a Leatherman Wave, I think it was, to pry something and it snapped, because obviously it's not a pry tool either. But better that than my blade. But anyway, this is awesome for that. I mostly use this for prying. If I needed to, I can use this for scraping. It has this little bit in here. Like I said, I didn't particularly, you know, want this. It just happened to be offered in trade. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's got kind of a fish look to it. I was super into fishing when I was offered it. So I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But this like little bit holder here, and it's got a little Phillips, you know, which goes in the side there. It's not necessary. It's a nice little bonus. When I first started carrying this, I thought, man, that's going to fall out, but it's not. It is so secure. I bang these keys around all over the place, and it hasn't gone anywhere. So interesting little multi-tool. Obviously, we have bottle openers here as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it with that. As far as the flashlights, again, Through Night Tie 5T, which I love. And then also for a full-size flashlight, which is still getting beat up. You can see this thing. I mean, I'm usually rotating through so many different flashlights, but lately, through November, I would say the majority of November, and so far pretty much every day in December, I've carried this light, the Streamlight ProTech 1L1AA, specifically because I can swap from a CR123 to a AA if I lose that battery power. Okay, I don't like carrying extra CR123s on me, but there's AA's everywhere. I keep in my car, I keep in my house, everywhere. Everyone that I know has AA's in their house, so wherever I am, I can always pop a new battery in there. All right, so very cool, simple light. As far as knives, I'm rocking Cold Steel in December. I actually have 2 more Cold Steel folders, as well as a fixed blade that I've been rotating through a little bit. The fixed blade, not so much, just kind of playing around with it. Didn't carry or anything, it's quite large. But as far as folders, I have the Broken Skull, which someone just commented on in another video asking if I would ever review this knife, and I happen to mention, yeah, I have one that I'm currently carrying, so eventually I will do a review on it. Right off the bat, I will say, way grippier than I thought. This is such a crazy textured handle. It's like, I don't know, it feels like, you know, 100 grit sandpaper. It's ridiculous. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just the first thing that stood out. So if you've never had a Broken Skull, that's literally my first thought on it is, wow, that's grippy. Okay, way more grippier than an Emerson. I always thought Emerson were pretty darn grippy. And then this beast, this is the Frenzy, and I love this knife. This is super cool. So eventually we'll do a review on this, as well as a Broken Skull. Just depends on when. That's all. I'm rotating through a bunch of different knives, but as far as December is concerned, mostly Cold Steel. So as far as neck knives, you guys, again, Cold Steel. I talked about this in previous videos. This is my favorite neck knife. Okay, this is the Spike. It comes in, I think, 2 different versions. I also have the Tanto version, but I don't carry it. I just have it as kind of a backup if something ever happened to this. I love it. It's lightweight. I don't actually think I did a review on this yet, and I might because I've had a lot of use on this thing since carrying it. Sharpened it 2 or 3 times already. I strap it up pretty much every day. It's just amazing. It's absolutely awesome. It's lightweight. It has such reach. Okay, for a neck knife, this is the biggest neck knife I've ever carried. All right, and that's why I've been carrying another neck knife as another option depending on what I'm wearing. But anyway, yeah, I'll get more into this when I do a review on it because I will eventually do a review. But because it's so long for a neck knife, it's ridiculous. Depending on what I'm wearing, sometimes if I'm wearing like a nice sweater or something or a button up and I just don't want such a large profile, I do go with one of the old school neck knives I loved, which is a CRKT. And this one is the No Bother. All right, but if you're going to carry something like this, beware that the tip is sharpened, the swedge, I guess you would call it. So technically, this is a stiletto style by definition, I suppose. Not by shape or anything, but the fact that we have one edge that's sharpened and a portion of the spine that's sharpened. That it depends on who you're talking to. They might have a different opinion on that, but just beware. Some places they may consider that a double-edged knife. You know, maybe you can make the argument that this is the tip, you know, and that's not the tip, but that's the tip and it's all part of the same edge. I don't really know. That's a legal thing. But from my experience in the US, cops only care about what knife you have after they're already talking to you about something else. If they pull you over and you're aggressive and they pat you down and they take your knife out, that's when it becomes an issue. And it just becomes another charge, a weapons charge added on to whatever you're already being frisked for. But if you're a normal person in society, following the laws, following the rules, and you're walking around or shopping or going back and forth to work or whatever you're doing, no one's going to randomly, or I should say they probably won't randomly stop you to make sure your knife is legal. So all these like, you know, little details of I can have double edge or stiletto or, you know, blade length limits and all that kind of stuff. I mean, on paper, it all matters. In the real world, most of the time, no one cares. But it's still good to practice, you know, legal activities. Does that make sense? So although it probably won't be an issue, maybe it's the that one thing where the one time you carry, let's say you have a 4-inch blade limit, and that one time you're like, all right, well maybe I'll carry this 5-inch knife, you have 5-inch blade, and then that's the day you get stopped. You know, it's just like bad luck. So I'm not suggesting do what you want. I am, you know, I always try to tell everyone to live a legal life. You know, it's an easier life to not break laws and stuff because you don't have to worry about stuff like that. But I'm just saying, as far as like the details, as far as what's legal, what's not legal in the knife realm of things, it doesn't always matter. It really doesn't. From my experience, I can only talk about my experience. Where I live in Pennsylvania, I mean, I carry a gun. Every single day I carry a gun. You know, I've never in Pennsylvania been stopped or even asked by a police officer what knife I'm carrying, and I always have lots of knives visible. I always have a pocket clip visible in my pants. I always have a neck knife that's clearly visible. I've had police officers look right at my neck knife. They never ask. I mean, this is a huge knife hanging off my neck. People in other countries, and even people in the US, think I'm absolutely insane for walking around like this. Like I look like I'm some kind of maniac. This is hanging off my neck. Everywhere I go, every person that sees me, well, they don't see this, but they see it inside the sheath, and that's clearly a knife. This is not a pendant. This is not a cute little necklace. This is a knife. And to some of the population, this is a weapon, and they find me to be a threatening person just because I'm carrying it. But no one's ever said anything, at least police officers. I should say police officers on duty. You guys remember one story time where a guy gave me a hard time who was like an off-duty cop or so. I forget what he was, a sheriff or something. That's an old story, but anyway, I'm getting way off track here. Neck knife, absolutely awesome, but way too big for most people. So the No Bother is, well, no bother, really. So that's what's going on with the knives. As far as the firearm, because it is winter, going with a full-size Glock 19, Gen 3, which is my favorite. And I'm also carrying a spare magazine in my off pocket, okay? And this has the +2 base plate. Now, as far as the firearms go, most of the time it is in the inside the waistband holster. But because it's winter and I've been carrying that concealed jacket, which I'll probably do an update video in the future on, I have carried it inside those big pockets, and I'll tell you that I don't like it that much. I started with the Beretta because I don't have a good holster for the Beretta yet. I told you I wanted to do a shoulder holster, but in getting that jacket, I thought like, okay, well now I can carry full-size firearms in the jacket. The issue with it is that if you just put the gun loose in there, it just moves around too much. If you place the gun inside the pocket in the jacket like this, it's stable. It doesn't move around, but it's also an awkward position. So you have to reach in the jacket and kind of, you know, put your hand over, like, you know, to draw this properly. And then of course, then you could get hung up. It's just, I don't mess with that idea. If I'm carrying a gun, obviously I want to access it as fast as possible. I don't want to make it more difficult for myself. So in keeping it inside, you know, the jacket pocket like this, so I can access it, you know, properly and quickly, it wants to move around a lot and stuff. So I don't know. If you use a holster in addition to the concealed carry pocket inside the jacket, that's a little different. I've been playing around with that. It's a little better, but it's still floppy enough because there's so much weight in a you know, loaded firearm that it wants to move around. However, I will say that I absolutely love those 4 magazine pouches. I don't know if you guys remember, but there's 2 on each side in the chest. And I have been using that on and off for things like the flashlight. I've also kept a spare magazine in there before, you know, besides the pocket. That's awesome for multi-tools, all kinds of stuff. I kind of wish that instead of having those big pockets on the bottom and the 2 magazine pouches, I wish I had like 6 magazine pouches on either side, and that was it. So I can carry, you know, a traditional holster around my waist and then have like a bunch of mags and, you know, tools and gear and all kinds of stuff like that. But anyway, that'll be more for when I do the update on the jacket. So yeah, Glock 19, a couple knives, and the last thing on the table here is the Zippo, which I carry every single day in my pouch that I love. This just snaps on, it's very easy, slip it on the belt. I carry this on the left side, it's out of the way, you know, because obviously I'm carrying the gun on the right. So I don't want anything near the gun. If I have to ever access it quickly, I'll be able to and not, you know, get confused and grab the wrong thing. But Zippo is still the same. This is the one that my father got me. And I did a video talking about this Zippo before. If you haven't seen it, you can check that video out. But yeah, this rides with me every single day. And every single time I take it out to use it for something, I think about my old dad. So, pretty cool. So that pretty much covers it. That's been my, my EDC for December. Let me know some new stuff you guys got. Let me know the new knives out there. They're awesome. You want me to check out. You know, as most of you guys know, I do trades. The majority of the time getting new knives is through trading. I can't just go out. I can't, you know, afford to just go buy a bunch of knives all the time. But I always welcome the suggestions, because when I'm doing trading, I'm thinking about what people have asked me for. You know, if you send a comment, hey, I want you to review this knife. I want you to review this knife. Those things stick in my head. And if someone, like, you know, offers that particular knife that I remember someone wanted to see, I jump on it. Like, yeah, all right, I'll trade for that. You know what I mean? So like, I'm usually not specifically looking for certain knives in trades. It just kind of whatever floats my way. I do like, you know, getting knives that you don't see other reviews on, some unique knives. I love doing reviews on knives that are out of production, knives that like people never even seen before from, you know, late 90s and early 2000s and stuff, just because it, you know, it shows something that people have no idea even existed. And it kind of stinks though, because a lot of people like them and then they have a hard time finding them, as opposed to reviewing something that's currently in production they can just go and buy online. But it's still interesting to me. Thank you very much for your time here on YouTube. There's plenty of stuff to watch, so I appreciate you clicking on my video and checking it out. And that's pretty much it. Post in the comments your new gear. I'd love to hear what you're working with. Tell me things you like, things you don't like, and that's it. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay warm. It is currently snowing right now as the filming of this video. It's the first big, you know, snowfall, I guess, in my area of 2017. So I'm not complaining, but it's finally here. So I got to put on my gloves and go shovel. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.